This is Earth, a thin film of warmth clinging to a rock. For a moment, let us pretend it is safe here, but pull back, just a little, and you start to see what surrounds us. Not neighbors, not allies, just physics. Cold, indifferent, waiting. The universe does not care that you exist, and some of the objects inside it should not exist at all. Let's start with the king, TON 618, a supermassive black hole confirmed by observation. Not theory, not speculation. Measurement: 66 billion times the mass of our sun. The event horizon, the point of no return, stretches for 2,400 astronomical units. That is 40 times the distance from the sun to Neptune. If you placed it where our sun sits, its edge would swallow our entire solar system and keep going. The accretion disk alone outshines our entire galaxy by thousands of times. Matter spiraling into this object gets so hot, so compressed, that it screams in X-rays before it vanishes. We detected it from 10 billion light-years away because it is that bright, that violent. Nothing escapes, not light, not time. And if you fell toward it, from the outside you would appear frozen at the edge forever. From your perspective, you would cross in seconds, and then nothing. No sensation, no thought, just geometry claiming you. TON 618 is 10 billion light-years away. That is not protection. That is just delay. And here is the uncomfortable truth. There are likely thousands more like it. We just haven't found them yet. The universe is old enough and large enough that monsters this size aren't rare. They are inevitable. Now let's talk about speed. When the most massive stars die, they don't just explode, they collapse. The core becomes a black hole or a neutron star in seconds. And as it does, twin jets of gamma-ray radiation punch through the poles at 99.9% the speed of light. These are gamma-ray bursts, the universe's sniper shot. And if one is pointed at you, you won't see it coming. Literally. Gamma rays travel at light speed. So does the information that they exist. There is no warning. The destruction and the notification arrive in the same instant. If a burst hit Earth from within 10,000 light-years, it would strip half the ozone layer in under 10 seconds. Ultraviolet radiation would sterilize the surface. Phytoplankton would collapse. The food chain would follow. Within months, mass extinction, not from the blast itself, from the absence of protection. Some scientists think it has already happened. The Ordovician extinction. 85% of marine species gone. And the leading suspect, a gamma-ray burst we will never be able to prove. Right now, there is a star 8,000 light-years away, WR104. It is wobbling. Its rotational axis might be pointed at us. Might. And when it dies, if the jet aims this way, we will know for 10 seconds before it doesn't matter anymore. If you have ever had a close call that shouldn't have worked out, a near miss that defied the odds, you already know what it feels like to be one branch point away from a different outcome. WR104 is that, at planetary scale. If you want to check its current rotational data, the observations are public. Link in the description. Let's slow down. This next one doesn't kill you. It just makes you feel wrong. The Boötes Void, a sphere of space 330 million light-years in diameter. Void. And inside it, where there should be thousands of galaxies, there are 60. 60. In a volume that should hold 2,000. The nearest neighbor, on average, is over 100 million light-years away. If you lived in one of these galaxies, you would see almost nothing in the night sky. A handful of smudges, maybe. Here is the part that disturbs people most. There would be no up to look toward. Every direction would be down, into nothing, no floor, no reference point, just emptiness extending in every direction. You could not even see your own hand in front of you without artificial light. The isolation would not just be physical, it would be perceptual, total. The galaxies inside the void are fossils, under-evolved, starved of the gravitational interactions that drive galactic growth. They formed alone. They will die alone. And anyone inside them, if anyone ever existed there, would look out and see almost nothing. Not darkness hiding something, just darkness. The kind of darkness that does not end. The kind that would drive any conscious being to question whether the universe had a purpose at all. If this sounds like the setting of a horror film, that is because several were inspired by it. Now let's talk about something that might not exist, but if it does, it is the most dangerous substance the universe can create. Strange matter. A hypothetical form of matter made entirely of strange quarks. Normally, quarks come in combinations, up, down, and strange, bound together by the strong force. But under extreme pressure, like the core of a neutron star, theory suggests quarks might rearrange into a lower energy state, a more stable configuration. And stable, in physics, means hungry. The hypothesis goes like this. A fragment called a strangelet touches normal matter. Contact converts it. That matter touches more matter. Conversion spreads. Not an explosion, a transformation, atom by atom, until the entire object is strange matter. If a strangelet hit Earth, the core might convert first. The surface would hold for seconds, maybe minutes, then collapse. The entire planet would compress into a sphere 100 meters across, as dense as a neutron star. No longer a planet, no longer recognizable as anything that once held life. The good news? We have tested this. Particle colliders have smashed nuclei together at energies that should create strangelets if they are stable. Nothing happened. Most physicists now think strange matter is unstable. It decays. It does not spread. But most think is not the same as certain. In the core of a neutron star, where we cannot look, the conditions are more extreme than anything we have ever tested. So the question remains, is it impossible or just improbable? Some physicists argue about this. If you have a position, we would like to hear it. We started with Ton 618, the confirmed king. But there is something in the data that might be larger. It does not sit at the center of a quasar. It sits at the center of the Phoenix cluster. Quiet, almost invisible, until you look at the energy. Phoenix. A is the central galaxy of a supercluster. The black hole inside it is not observed directly. It is inferred from the jets, from gravitational lensing, and from the sheer amount of energy required to explain what we see. Current models suggest this black hole might contain 100 billion solar masses, maybe more. If that is accurate, it is not just the largest black hole. It is the largest single object we have ever identified, larger than most dwarf galaxies, compressed into a sphere of pure gravity. But here is what makes it stranger. It is quiet. Ton 618 is a quasar, screaming, visible across the universe. Phoenix. A is in a low accretion state. It is not feeding much. It is just there. Massive, silent, waiting. Thousands of galaxies orbit it. Their stars, their planets, their hypothetical civilizations are all bound to a gravitational well so deep that even at the cluster's edge, the escape velocity is a fraction of the speed of light. If Ton 618 is the reigning king, Phoenix A is the ghost in the data. Unconfirmed, unobserved directly, but the math keeps pointing to it. And if the math is right, it is not just larger. It is alone in its category, a class of one. We are halfway through, and the next 5 get worse. We need to talk about where we are going. Our galaxy is moving, not just expanding with the universe, moving through it at 600 kilometers per second towards something we cannot see. It is called the Great Attractor, a gravitational anomaly roughly 220 million light-years away. And it is pulling tens of thousands of galaxies toward it, not just ours. Entire superclusters flowing like water toward a drain we cannot observe. We cannot observe it directly. It sits behind the zone of avoidance, a dense wall of our own galaxy's dust and stars. Optical telescopes see nothing. Radio telescopes pick up mass, lots of it, but no clear image. We know something is there because we can measure its pull. We just cannot see what is doing the pulling. What we think we are seeing is the Norma cluster, a supercluster of galaxies dense enough to warp space-time at a scale that reaches across hundreds of millions of light years. But we are not certain because we cannot look directly at it. Our local group, Virgo, Hydra Centaurus, all of us, drifting, not by choice, but by curvature. Space-time itself is tilted and we are sliding down. We have been falling toward it for billions of years, and we will not arrive for billions more. But we are moving towards something massive, something hidden, and we do not know what it looks like. We are passengers on a galaxy that is being pulled somewhere we cannot see by something we cannot measure directly. That should unsettle you. Now let's talk about exile. Rogue planets, worlds with no sun, ejected from their birth systems by gravitational chaos, close encounters with gas giants, binary star instabilities, sometimes just bad timing. Best estimates suggest there are billions of them in our galaxy. Maybe more rogue planets than stars, drifting in the dark, untethered. Each one a world that could have been something, a place where life might have started, now frozen, silent, forgotten. Without a star, surface temperatures drop to absolute zero. Atmospheres freeze and fall as snow. Oceans, if they ever existed, become solid ice kilometers thick. Any internal heat left over from formation leaks away over millions of years. Some might still have geothermal activity. Subsurface oceans kept liquid by radioactive decay in the core. But the surface? Total darkness. No day, no night. Just an endless, silent freeze. If Earth were ejected tomorrow, the surface would freeze within weeks. The oceans would ice over in months, and within a year, the atmosphere itself would begin condensing into liquid nitrogen rain. We would become one of them. A dark drifter. A world that used to matter. These worlds do not explode. They do not collapse. They just drift. Alone. In perfect silence. For trillions of years. Until even their atoms decay. Let's talk about the floor falling out. The Higgs field gives particles mass. It is everywhere. In you, on this planet, in the space between stars. And right now, it is stable. Probably. But stable might not mean lowest energy. We might be sitting in what is called a false vacuum, a local minimum. Stable enough to last, but not the true ground state. If the field ever tunnels into the true vacuum, through quantum fluctuation, cosmic ray collision, anything, it creates a bubble. Inside the bubble, physics is different. Particle masses change. Atoms do not hold together the same way. Chemistry stops working. And the bubble expands. At the speed of light. Perfectly spherical. Unstoppable. It does not slow down. It does not encounter resistance. It simply rewrites reality as it moves. And behind it, nothing we would recognize as a universe remains. You would not see it coming. Light from the bubble and the bubble itself arrive simultaneously. No warning, no defense. One moment you exist, the next you are part of a new universe with different rules. Except you are not. Because the atoms that made you do not exist anymore. Good news. Calculations suggest the false vacuum, if that is what we are in, has a decay time longer than the current age of the universe. Trillions of years, maybe more. Bad news. Quantum tunneling is probabilistic. It does not wait for permission. It just happens. Anywhere. Anytime. And we would never know. That is the most comforting thing about vacuum decay. You would not have time to be afraid. If that did not disturb you, you might want to subscribe. Because this channel does not soften the physics. We have talked about objects. Now let's talk about time. In 100 billion years, the last sun-like stars burn out. Only red dwarfs remain. Tiny, dim, efficient. They will last for trillions of years. But even they end. 10 trillion years from now, the last conventional star will die. The universe enters the degenerate era. No more fusion, no more light. just remnants: white dwarfs, neutron stars, black holes, and the dark frozen cores of dead stars called black dwarfs. Black dwarfs do not glow. They do not radiate. They are colder than space itself. They will drift for 10 to the power of 32 years, maybe longer. That number is so large that writing it out would take more zeros than atoms in your body. Eventually, if current theories hold, protons decay. The atoms that make up planets, neutron stars, and black dwarfs dissolve into positrons, photons, and neutrinos. Particle by particle, solid matter stops existing. Then come the black holes, the last reservoirs of structure in the universe. They evaporate slowly, Hawking radiation bleeding them away over timescales so long they make the current age of the universe look like a rounding error. The largest black holes will take 10 to the power of 100 years to evaporate. A Google years. Every number you can think of rounds to 0 on that scale. The age of the universe, 0. The lifetime of every star that will ever exist, 0. Human civilization, beginning to end, a rounding error so small it does not register. And when they are gone, nothing. We have saved something for the end that does not fit the pattern. Not a void, not a concept, a star. The most violent star in the known universe. Magnetars. Neutron stars with magnetic fields a quadrillion times stronger than Earth's. A magnetic field so intense that if you placed a credit card at a distance of 100,000 kilometers, roughly a quarter of the way to the moon, the card would be erased. Not by heat, by magnetism alone. Get closer, and the field starts affecting atoms. Water molecules twist, biological tissue distorts. Close enough, and the field would literally pull the iron from your blood. Not metaphorically, magnetically, atom by atom. Magnetars do not last long, maybe 10,000 years before their fields decay. But while they are active, they are the most magnetically violent objects we have ever measured. Starquakes. On their surface, release more energy in 1/10 of a second than the sun emits in 100,000 years. One magnetar, SGR 180620, had a starquake in 2004. The gamma-ray flash hit Earth from 50,000 light-years away. It ionized part of our upper atmosphere. For a fraction of a second, night became day on the instruments. From 50,000 light-years, halfway across the galaxy. A brief twitch on the surface of a dead star, and we felt it here. That is not a black hole. That is not a theory. That is a measured event. From a star the size of a city. If that measurement surprised you, hit like. This channel tracks what resonates. This is it. The end of entropy. The temperature of space has dropped to a fraction of a degree above absolute zero. There is no structure left, no gradients, no differences in energy, nothing to power a process, nothing to power a thought. Somewhere maybe there is one last black hole, solar mass, maybe less. And it is leaking, hawking radiation, one photon at a time. And then it evaporates. The final burst. High-energy particles scatter outward. And then, one last photon, redshifted by expansion into an infinitely long wavelength, carrying no information, interacting with nothing. That is the last event, the final thing that will ever happen. After this, no motion, no decay, no time in any meaningful sense, just space, expanding, empty, forever. No one to remember that anything ever existed, no trace that the universe once held light or life or thought. But here is the thing, we aren't there yet. We are here, in the first fraction of cosmic time, the stelliferous era, the age of stars, the age of planets, the age of chemistry and biology and complexity. The universe will spend 99.9999% of its existence dark, cold, and dead. But right now, for this brief, unlikely window, there is light. There is structure. There is US. The universe is hostile, indifferent, temporary. But we are the ones looking at it, measuring it, understanding it. That is not nothing. These are the objects that should not exist. The voids that should not be empty, the timelines that should not be so long. And yet, they are. Next, we are going inside TON 618. What happens at the event horizon? What the accretion disk is actually doing? And the one question physicists still can't answer about it. If you are here for the physics, not the hype, subscribe. This is just the beginning.